G'day everyone, welcome back. I am sitting in front of the whole 705 bowls in front of me right now. I struggled to squeeze it all into one shot, and if you're wondering who this beautiful little chocolate Labrador puppy is here, she doesn't have a name yet. I'm just currently babysitting her, so I can't let her out of my sight. So she's falling asleep, but you might hear her panting or breathing in the microphone, but we don't mind puppy breath. So there's 140 stacks of 5 bowls plus 5. That's what's in front of me right now on this big circular table. I wanted to make this short video on what I've been up to in the last couple of weeks, and that has been mainly reducing tenons, giving them a quick buff, and any bowls that didn't meet the brief or the size of the bowls that were required, I have returned them, and hopefully keeping an eye on the little Chocky Lab. So let's go do that now. Come on, let's go. Ooh. I think she's pretty tired. Ooh, she's super cute. Come on. Oh. I've got the Harley Davidson collar on. Oh. My 3 main issues that I was having when I was turning all these bowls is that at the start, some of them were a little bit too small. They might look beautiful and they're all finished really nice, but they didn't meet the brief entirely. They were just smaller than the ones that I originally chose. I didn't have the prototype with me that I sent in, so I requested that back. I didn't turn hundreds of them too small. It was like a handful or so that were just a little bit too small. The other issue is that they were a little bit too dull, so I've gone back through and given them all a quick buff. I'm going to show you how I go about doing all that now. And the third, but the final and the biggest issue, was that the tenons were just a bit too big for the overall project, so for the prototype. So I had to go back through a lot of bowls and reduce the size of the tenon. So that was the main issue. And how I went about doing that, you might be looking at this jigger just here on the lathe, and that is the VM90 chuck attached to a live thread adapter. So I'll show you how that works. So the live thread adapter just connects your chucks or whatever you want, faceplate, anything, but allows you to put it in the tailstock end, not obviously on the headstock thread. So there's a thread there that matches all my chucks that you need to find out what yours is if you want one of these, and it works an absolute treat by allowing you to center up bowls if you're having difficulty manually doing it by eye and by feel. And this is just my vacuum chuck, my homemade vacuum chuck, which is on there severely. And all it is a faceplate that I have. I can't remember the exact purpose of this little rubber piece, but it's got a hole in there which it came with, but I made it slightly bigger, the diameter. And when I glued this onto the faceplate, I then went ahead and then turned this to make sure it was perfectly running true on the lathe. So then that goes on there. I've got and anyone that's struggling to keep their faceplates or their chucks on, they're spinning off in reverse. All you need to do is, before you wind your faceplate on, your chuck or whatever you're using, is just give that back a really good clean. Make sure all the way around the spindle there, and where the 2 pieces of metal touch at the end to lock into place, you give it a spin, a quick flick. So I'm nearly there. All I do at the end is give it a quick flick, lock the lathe off, and then just really just make sure it's on there and it's nipped up, and that metal will bind together. So that's on there. I've got the rotating union on over here for my vacuum pump. I will link a video in the end about the vacuum pump. My apologies. I'll show you how this works. So you just get your chuck key, lock the bowl off or whatever you're doing, bring it up, I'll turn the pump on. You'll hear the pump running in the background there, so I'll let it suck on and you'll hear the difference of the pump. And whatever pump you're using, that will become like second nature. You can hear that the pump is working, it's sucking properly, you're good to go. Undo the chuck, take that away, and that is it should be perfectly centered. Now, if you feel like when you look down on that bowl that it's not running true. So I'll show you how you can center up the bowl a little bit more if you're not happy with it. I place my thumb on the tool rest, and if I can feel that bowl tenon touching my thumb lightly all the way around, I know that it is centered on that chuck and that there's no big gaps or there's no pressure on my thumb, that you could nearly do it without looking at it. So you can feel that the bowl is spinning true on your finger. If I needed to make adjustments and there was big gaps, I simply just undo the vacuum chuck ever so slightly and then move it towards myself. So I actually, and this is one thing that I will say, I'm not trying to push anything towards any of you in this video. I bought that rotating thread adapter, live thread adapter, simply because, just as an aid for myself. So if I was struggling with the bowl and I just wanted to get going and speed my process up, that's why I bought it. In the end, I didn't really end up using it at all. I ended up just doing everything by eye, eyeing everything up, and you just get better and better and better and better at that. And when you've done your 5th or 500th bowl or something like that, you don't even need to really look at it. You can just place it perfectly onto the vacuum chuck and it just sucks on and it spins true every time. So, well, not every time, sometimes you need little adjustments. But anyway, so we're running true. I'll turn that on and show you. That's running really nice. I've got the GL5 here with the 45-degree bevel, M42 steel, and it's a razor sharp tool. I'm just going to reduce this tenon because this was the main issue that I had. So it's sucking nicely. I can hear the pump, and I just simply press into the back of the bowl, pressing in all the way along, and this is just how I go about doing it. So I can see that is a nice 5mm tenon, which is what was on the main one, on the main prototype. And then I come into this from the side, lightly touch it, and then drive it in on that angle, like that. That's really nice. That's done. I'm just going to do one more cut. Perfect. From there, I flick the lathe off, move my banjo out of the way, and then in this bucket here, I wad punch all my sandpaper out. So in this bucket here, I've got all the sandpaper little off-cut bits that I've had collected over this entire project and previous. So I've got 180 and 240 there. Flick the lathe in reverse, bit of 180, just a lot. I'm not going to create heaps of dust, you know what I mean? Just a quick little touch there, and then 240, just a light little touch, because what I really want to show you is the actual finish of how I go about doing it. And then I've got this Triple E. I'm not going to keep sanding it. Yeah, don't want to breathe that in. And then I got the Triple E here. It's a cut and polish wax compound. It's got like little granules inside the paste. So I just get my finger and put a little dab on the back there like that, because you might notice it's on this box over here. Put that to the side. So this also incorporates the fact that I needed to touch some of the bowls up because they were sitting around for a while. So just a quick buff either with the cloth, or I hit it with a bit of Shellac wax, or the Triple E, sorry, and then reapplied a nice little coat of finish on it, stacked it, and then covered them away. Or I used a bit of wax and buffed that in just to bring up that shine. So I want to show you something here. Hopefully I've done it. Yes, so you can see those lines. Hopefully you can see those lines in there. So now the finish is actually blotchy on that little bowl. I kind of wanted that to happen. So I'm going to show you how I'll go about rectifying that with this Triple E, because it acts, and I'm not sponsored by this company. They're a family-owned company here in Australia. All these products I purchased myself. They have sent me some in the past, but these are all mine. I've purchased them all with my own monies. So I'm using that Triple E now, and I'm gonna cut that polish back, that finish that was on there previously. And as you can see, that vacuum chuck, I've got a fair bit of pressure on that, and that vacuum chuck is just holding up really nicely. So keep buffing away, moving that polish around, that'll do us. And then, I don't have my other clean rag here, I'm just going to find a nice clean bit of cloth and then buff that finish off. Lathe off. That looks a lot better. Then I've got my Triple E here. Oh sorry, I got my Shallow Wax Glow. And this is what happens with that shellac. It goes real hard, provides a really hard protective surface. And it just looks really neat. Got to give it a good shake. I know Neil would be impressed, the owner. He'd be impressed with that shake there. A little bit of the glow on there. This is just what I've been using. I don't have any Shallow Wax cream, so I've just switched to the glow. And then I put that on there quickly like that. Just roll it all over it. Pincher method with the cloth, and then don't move your fingers. Keep your fingers in the same position. You see those lines I'm bringing back and forth, those little lines over the bowl. Just moving that finish across. I slipped a little bit then. Right. Make sure that lid's closed. And that's it. That is looking absolutely primo now. If I want to touch that inside up now, I have noticed one thing. And this isn't like the video I'm going to do about things that I could improve in the future. I will make that video for those that are interested, that want to improve, that want to see how I did things and want to improve their process. If they ever get a job where they have to do a heap of something, watch that video I'm going to release in a couple of weeks. And hopefully that will help you out. You might be able to see there's a little line on the inside there. I want to remove that. This is just a bit of bubble wrap with a slight cut in the center there. I put that on the little vacuum pump, the little vacuum chuck. Put the foot directly into that rim there, which matches the size of all the tenons. Flick the vacuum pump on, getting tongue-tied, and that is running true. Turn the lathe down, don't want it spit, doesn't need to be spinning its head off. And I've got my left hand, you might have seen it before, put my left hand there, because this is what, helmet down, this is what can happen, is when you're buffing, I had a little bit too much pressure on one side of the bowl, and it can force the bowl off. And bowls were flying around the workshop, which wasn't very pretty. So just quickly give it a light buff and that'll do. That's it, done. Reducing the tenon size, giving it a quick buff only takes a couple of minutes. It really doesn't take that long at all, and it makes them look absolutely primo, ready to go. I then go and stack them over into the storage shed, cover them up so they're all ready to go for the team to come and pick them up, the client, and they're going to take some photos and do a bit of an interview, which I'm really looking forward to, and I will share with all you guys as well. But in the meantime, check this video out here if you want to see more about vacuum pumps and stuff, and the reason why I decided to go down the road and purchase a vacuum pump and switch over from what the other methods that I was doing. So thank you so much. Thanks for sticking by me, and I really appreciate all your support. So I'll talk to you all directly. Cheers. Bye.